Okay, Master Gardeners, I'm getting ready to try to stimulate some seeds, woody plant seeds, to grow for me. Typically, this is not the time of the year you find seeds, so this might be something more appropriate for fall. But anyway, I have all these Kentucky coffee tree pods, big ones I might add, and inside are very large woody seeds. Very large woody seeds. And in order for them to grow, I looked up in Michael Durr's book, and he said that he drops them in sulfuric acid and leaves them in there for like 8 to 10 days. Well, I don't happen to have any sulfuric acid. I don't know, maybe you have some sitting at home. So what do you do when you get these large woody seeds? Like here's another one, these Pawpaw Seeds, which I showed you the other day, my seedlings that grew. You might have big Pawpaw Seeds, or you might have persimmon seeds, which are inside of here. Those are other woody seeds that have very thick seed coats. And so what do you do? How do you start them? First of all, you look it up in a book to see what they need. But obviously this woody seed coat is on here for a reason, and that's to stop it from just germinating at any time of the year. There's this protection, so they're like little band-aids they're covered with that says don't flower until after cold and moisture have broken down this woody seed coat. Well, I don't have all winter to wait, so I want to hurry up and see if I can push these. So somehow I have to break the seed coat. So you have a couple options. You can take pruners and try to cut them. This is a very heavy seed. I can't begin to penetrate this with a pair of pruners. I don't have any sulfuric acid. I could take a little nail file, which is adequate for some small seeds, but that little file is just going to take me too long. So what I did, as you can see, I've already nicked it here. I used this heavy-duty horse file for carving on my horse's feet and hooves, and I scraped it against there. So I went like this for at least 25 or 35 times, and I've been able to interrupt the coat enough that I think I'm going to stimulate some moisture to get inside. That's the whole objective. Now these are pretty fresh Pawpaw Seeds that I just got like a month ago, and you can sort of see the end that's going to germinate. It sort of has an eye on it, much like with this Kentucky coffee tree. You'll also see it has sort of has an eye at one end. So that's where your root and your leaf is going to develop. We want to nick them at the opposite opposing end. So for these pawpaws, what I'm going to do is take my pruners and just gently nick that seed coat to allow the moisture to get in. And I did this previously with about 15 seeds that I started. Just nick them all three, and then I put them in a baggie in my refrigerator. I have soil that is a potting medium that has already been pasteurized, so I know that it's clean and it's not going to have fungus in it. So this is a potting medium that is used in greenhouses. So I know that this is going to be clean because it's used for seed starting and things. So buy a seed starting mix. That would be adequate. Don't just use outdoor soil. Don't use potting mixes. You need these soilless mediums. And I'm going to moisten this, and I'm just going to throw my seeds into it. And because I'm supposed to simulate winter, I put the pawpaw seed or whatever seed I'm doing, and I put it in here. I just mix them in there. I Ziploc in moist soil and put it in my refrigerator, and I leave it in the fridge for a couple months. I could pot it up into one of these containers and put it in a potting mix. The only problem with that is I'd have to make sure my soil stays evenly moist all the time. So that's why I like just stuffing it in a bag. Last time my pawpaw seeds just germinated right in my refrigerator. And then I was like, oh no, I gotta plant them. And I ran out here and dropped them in the ground. So that's a woody plant seed with a thick woody coat. Now, when I'm doing other plants, like at home, things like beans and nasturtiums, I always do what's called just pre-soak. I drop my seeds in overnight. If I'm doing beans, my neighbor gave these little runner beans. This one looks bad. One of them, I only pulled one of them up. I'd already planted them, but I wanted you to see them. So I soaked them, and they already got a little bit chubby, and then I take them out and immediately plant them. Once you break the seed coat with moisture, that plant is giving everything it's got into germination. You must continue to care for it, otherwise it will die. So with my nasturtium seeds, which are right here, these big round guys, I also like to nick these because they're a troublesome one that doesn't like to germinate easily. I don't pay much attention to what part of the seed I'm hitting. I just kind of nick them. Let me put my glasses on, and I really can only do like one at a time. Go to the opposing end and kind of nick it. I'll do another one. 1, 2, 3. Just notch it a little bit. If you don't feel like you want to prune it, then just take your nail file and try to file through the end of it a little bit. Yeah, that's good enough. Actually, a nice file. So I'm going to do that with all my nasturtium seeds, soak them overnight, and tomorrow morning I'm going to pop them in their pots and get them started. So let's just mention a little bit, what does a seed do when it's germinating? Seed has mainly three parts. It's got the outside chubby woody seed coat, sometimes woody, sometimes not so woody. So you got a coat on the outside. Think of your peanut that you eat sometimes, and it has a kind of a woody coat on the outside. Then inside are these large cotyledons, which are these two little things. On a bean plant, when it comes above the ground, it brings those inside little cotyledons right above the ground. The purpose of the cotyledon is it's food storage for the seedling. And as the seedling starts to grow, these just give way. And then also inside is an embryo. When you dissect a seed, you can actually see the embryo inside. So that's a good kids project to take them apart, a big fat lima bean, and you can actually see preformed leaves inside your embryo. So you've got an embryo, you got a seed coat, and you got cotyledons in a seed. They're your three main parts. If you're doing seeds that have a dormancy, you need to do homework. Things like lavender, some of the seeds like parsley and all that take 3 weeks to germinate, it's good to give it a cold treatment first. So in order to give it a cold treatment, I like to do the old milk jug, sow my seeds in the milk jug, cover it up, do it during the cool months of like February, March, and then let them germinate on their own. So that's an easy thing to do. Like I've got a perennial wildflower mix here, and I don't know how well they'll germinate, but I'm gonna pop them into I would pop them in a milk jug in the cool weather and try it that way. So those are just some tips for seed germination that I just wanted to share with you. Have some fun.